You have to check your thing because I don't know.
Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Welcome to Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Mandir in Shri Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. I'm just going to check and see if we're on together here. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupani Guru Varga ki jai, Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So we will begin on page 1 of this book, Sri Gauriya Giti Gucha, with Mangalacharan, Vandeham, D-A-N-D-E-H-A-M, Vandeham.
Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta
Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaurakarna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Rutaye Dinataline Rupanuga Virbhavo Siddhanta Vantaharine Namo Gaura-Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya-murtaye Vipralambhara Sambodhe Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhaktivedanta Satchidananda-namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga-padayate Gaura-nirbhava-bhumesvam Nirdeshtham sajanapriyam Vaishnava-sarvabhaumashri Jagannatayate Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa-sindhubhya-eva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jayatam Surato Pangva Mama Mandam Nadirgati Matsarvasvam Kanam Gojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyam Vrindaranya Kalpadrumana Srimad Grantagara Simhasanastho Shri Shri Radha Srila Govinda Deva Prishthanibhi Sevyamana Smarami Shrimangasarasarambhi Vanchivattatatvastitaha Karshante Usvare Gopi Gopinath Shri Suraha Vrindaye Tulasi Devyai Priyaye Keshavasya cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupasvarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktatyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Chaito Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvaparam Shreyakairabachandrika Vidaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Purivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrikashvadanam Sarvatma Sabaram Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Rameva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Pratiranyata Hare Krishna 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 Shri Guru Charana Kamal Bhajaman. Page 359, starting with Shri Guru SRI GU RU. 359. Sorry, it doesn't start with Shri Guru, it starts with Guru Charana Kamal Bhajaman. G-U-R-U. Shri Guru Charana Kamal Bhajaman. Shri Guru Shri Guru Charana Kamal Bhajaman. Shri Guru Charana Kamal Bhajaman. Charana Kamal Bhajaman. Puro Vaisnava Gana, Kuri E Nivedana.
Page 43.
Page 43.
Starts with Thakur, Thakura, Vaisnava, Vaisnava, Gana, Gana.
Just making sure. Jai Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Can you turn that fan and face here? But I need it. Thank you. If it can be back, it's good. Thank you.
Which one?
Nityananda Prabhu.
Ki Jai.
Page 60, Akrodha Paramananda Nityananda Raya.
Page 60, you said that. It starts with Akrodha, Akrodha.
I was looking for my bookmark.
It's in your Beyond Vaikuntha.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Shri Krishna Avatar Sar Gaura Avatar, page 82. Avatara. Apno Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. So we've received a request for Gopinath in the Bengali tune.
Page 130 starts with Gopinath.
Gopinath.
Gopinatha. Gopinath. Is that wrong? What page did we say?
I don't even know.
You said 130.
I meant it when I said it. Okay.
She's right. তোমার শতাব্দী কে আছে পাপিরায়া Request for Anupama Madhuri Jori Hamare Shyam Shyama Ki. What page?
Page 364, and it starts with A-N-U-P-A-M-A. Anupama Madhuri Jori.
Sham Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai. Radha Vinu Bihari Ju ki jai. Hari Nam Sankirtan ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaniti Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurum Ninatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Prabhishna Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam and to the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Prabhishna Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, and my Dandavat Pranam to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of those who are with us today. My Dandavat Pranam. Okay. So yesterday some questions were asked, and I said I would read the questions, and I did not. So I was very, very busy. But if you have any questions now, if you place them there, I can see what you might be asking. In the meantime, we will continue with going beyond Vaikuntha. It is the Bhav Anuvad, the commentary full of divine moods, revelations, and laden with nectar, rasa, of our Gurudev on the beautiful book known as Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita by Sanatan Goswami. So first of all, we will pray to Sri Sanatan Goswami in the words of Raghunath Das Goswami. Juga bhaktira samprayatna apayana mam anubhikshamandam kripam budirya paradukha dukhi sanatanastam prabhum ashrayami. Praying in the dust of the lotus feet of our Gurudev and Sri Sanatan Goswamipada, that may even a particle of their moods which are present within these pages manifest within our hearts. So yesterday, we were reading from Srila Gurudev, and he was explaining how all of the forms of the Lord, all of them are always eternally existent. And according to the particular nature of any devotee, as they are calling to that particular form of the Lord who is their Ishtadev, that form of the Lord will manifest to them, that form who is always existent. Although they are in essence one in tattva, still, according to rasa, or the particular relationship that they exhibit with their devotee, they are different. So one in tattva, completely variegated in terms of rasa. And this is really a beautiful conception, because when something is difficult to understand in tattva, or if there's any complication, then we need to look at it from both the tattva vichar and rasa vichar. Both perspectives are necessary. And most of the time, we will find reconciliation easily when we consider both of those aspects, the conception of the foundational truth and the conception of the pastime or the lila. Then we will find some reconciliation. And if we cannot reconcile it ourselves, then Krishna himself always sends any pure Vaishnava, pure devotee into this world to reconcile our questions for us. And even if they feel they cannot, because it is beyond our comprehension, then they will engage us under their guidance in taking shelter of Sri Harinam Prabhu, by which all transcendental knowledge is revealed in our hearts. Radhe Radhe. So here, Srila Gurudev is saying that they're all one in tattva, non-different. And I was referring to this verse in Sri Brahma Samhita, Deeparchideva Hirashantaram Abhyupetya. Just like one fire lights another fire, lights another fire. Fire is fire. But still there's a speciality in the candle or in the fire. And when Krishna appears as Sachinandan Gaurahari, his pastimes are different than his pastimes as Krishna. Although they are one and the same personality. Well, he's Krishna, but he is covered. Radha Alingita Vigraham. Covered with the bhav, the mood, the sentiment. Completely saturated in Srimati Radhika. This is Krishna. In the form of Sachinandan Gaurahari Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Radha Bhava Dhyuti Subalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. That same Krishna, Keshava Drita, manifests as Matsya. That same Krishna manifests as Kurma, Varaha, Narasingha, Vaman, all of the avatars. And the ones that we have, that we see, Dashavatar, it's only 10. In Srimad Bhagavatam, so many more are mentioned. And in reality, there are unlimited. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is discussing all of the different Vaikuntha forms of Narayan with Sri Sanatan Goswami, he's talking about the 4 arms and in which position the club is, which arm the conch shell is, and the lotus flower. So many different forms are there, and each one is different from one another. Although they're the same in essence, they're different in terms of the nature of their relationship or rasa with their devotees. So, yesterday we came to the point of Vamandev. Vamandev is an incarnation of Vishnu. He is also an eternal form who is always eternally present in the transcendental realm. That same Vamandev came to, he's the younger brother of Indra. So he's called Indra Anuja. He's the younger brother of Indra. He is always residing in the heavenly planets. But when he came to cheat Bali Maharaj, he just came as a little boy and he cheated Bali Maharaj. When Bali Maharaj gave him 3 steps of land, suddenly he became bigger than the universe, claimed the entire universe, top to bottom, and then said, "Where's my 3rd step?" So Bali Maharaj had to give his own head. And this is the epitome of Atma Nivedan as mentioned in Shastra. He rejected the order of his Guru Shukracharya to satisfy the desire of Vamandev and gave him everything. So he surrendered everything. Manasa Deho Geho Jo Kichumor Arpilu Tuapade Nanda Kishore. Everything he surrendered to Krishna. Everything he surrendered to this form. Even rejecting the order of his Guru. Guru Urna Sasyat. Because of this, he is glorified everywhere. But then one thing, because Vamandev was so pleased with him, and also Prahlad came there when he had bound Bali Maharaj in snakes. At that time, Prahlad Maharaj also came there. But Bali Maharaj, because he completely surrendered himself at the lotus feet of Sri Vamandev, at that time, Vamandev was so pleased with him, he gave him a benediction. And what benediction did he ask for? That you will always reside with me. Just like the demigods, they have him. He said, you will always reside with me. Well, this created a conundrum. This same Vamandev must always be remaining with Bali Maharaj. And he's also there in the heavenly planets. So he's in both places simultaneously, protecting both. Although he is one and the same, Gurudev is explaining, one and the same, still, for protecting his devotees, he came in a very beautiful form. It seems that he came for protecting the demigods and for cheating the demons, but no, actually he benefited both. In reality, Bali Maharaj received more benefit than the demigods. Because the demigods got no special benefit, but Bali Maharaj did. So although Mahadev is always there present with the demigods, we understand from Shastra that due to their high birth, janma, elevated birth, which is due to punya. When one does so many good activities in this world, then naturally they attain a high birth, high education, bodily beauty, and janma aishwarya, wealth. Sometimes, especially these days, we look in the world and we think it is unfair. But we should understand that nothing is unfair in this world. Everything that is coming to everyone, everything, is in essence due to us, according to our karma. That is the happiness and the distress. When one does pious activities, doing so many pious activities, they accumulate some kind of pious merits. These are called sukritis. It means you're doing something good. Giving in charity, helping the poor, giving food to so many, giving clothes, free hospital, all sorts of these things. Then you can build your material sukriti. And the result of that is you can raise yourself to higher and higher and higher positions, higher births. So then you become privileged, in a sense, to have a birth where everything just seems to be easy, in a sense. And you can go rise yourself right up to the point of demigods. But Kunti Devi says that these four things are a disqualification for bhakti. Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta and Shri. This high birth, this high wealth, this high education and this intense bodily beauty is a distraction from bhakti because it makes one proud. And pride or ego is diametrically opposed to the nature that one requires to develop bhakti. What is that nature? Trinadapi sunichena, tarodapi sahishnuna, amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One must become so humble. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, he would say, coming to the point of absolute negative. Meaning, I feel that I am absolutely nothing. I am lower, like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says. I am more simple than Jagai Marai, and I am lower than a worm in stool. And from this position, one can cry out that I have no qualification whatsoever. Like we just sang in Bhaktivedanta Thakur's prayer, Gopinath Mama Nivedana Shuno. He said, Asura Sakala Pailo Charana. Even the demons are attaining your lotus feet. Even the demons. What about me? So he's feeling himself even lower than the demons. And then he's praying, Vinoda Thakilo Boshi. Mama Nivedana Shuno. Oh, listen to my prayer, Gopinath. See my condition. I have no good quality, nothing. So from that point, we can attract mercy when we feel ourselves very low. But if we feel ourselves very great, very grand, very proud, very egotistical, supreme, then how can we take that humble role by which Krishna's heart will melt, by which the Vaishnava's hearts will melt, by which Gurudev's heart will melt? So Srimad Mahaprabhu, when asked by Prakashananda Saraswati in Varanasi, there he was with his 100,000 sannyasi disciples, all Mayavadi. There Mahaprabhu was sitting somewhere near the shoes, near the entrance. And they noticed him. Who is this beautiful personality? They became attracted by the beauty of Mahaprabhu. Of course, he's Krishna covered with the bhava of Radhika. They were completely mesmerized. How beautiful is he? He was distracting them from their Mayavad conception. And then Prakashananda Saraswati said, what? Why are you sitting there and you're chanting the names of Krishna? You're a sannyasi. You should do the activities of a sannyasi. Study Vedanta. You should study the Vedas. Why are you just chanting Harinam? Mahaprabhu said, my Gurudev, he saw me as a fool. He didn't think I would be capable of studying all of these things. So he told me, just take shelter of Harinam. So I am a fool before my Guru. And Srila Prabhupada made many commentaries on this. That one should always remain as a fool when it comes to their Gurudev. That I am nothing. And we've seen it practically in our Srila Gurudev. Even at 90 years old, even though his Gurudev physically left this world in 1968, I believe. Yes, Srila Prabhupada was in Seattle at that time. 1968, Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj entered Samadhi. He's always in Nitya Lila, but we say entered Nitya Lila. So many years later, 2008, 2009, every year from that time, but even into 2008, 2009, when our Gurudev would speak about his Gurudev, he would start glorifying him, just with his pranam mantra. Nama Om Visnupadaya, Gaura Preshthaya Bhutale, Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyam, Keshava, and then his heart would break and tears would just start pouring from his eyes. He never thought, I am great. He just saw that I am completely dependent on the mercy of my Gurudev. And with this mood, so much mercy came to him. Always defending the conceptions of his Gurudev, establishing them everywhere. And if anyone were to come against the teachings of his Gurudev, Gurudev said that his blood would boil and he would defeat those arguments. This is the nature of a real disciple who will uphold the dignity of the teachings of their Gurudev. But still, how he would weep for his Gurudev, always feeling himself to be like a baby. And he said his Gurudev also would see them like that. He said we were so old and mature and we were preaching everywhere, but our Gurudev was so concerned for us. How will you babies be able to function? Even we saw how Srila Prabhupada was so concerned for his disciples after he would leave. What will happen to them? And he was very concerned. He was begging our Gurudev, please look after them, please help them. And Gurudev was assuring him, everything will be okay, everything will be okay. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, same with his disciples. They were also big sannyasis and preaching everywhere and opening up centers and mutts, making so many devotees, but he was so concerned. How will you maintain? If it's necessary to sell the bricks of the mutt so that you will maintain, so that you can keep preaching, then you should do that. So what kind of vatsalyata does Sri Guru have for their disciple? And what kind of moods should the disciple have for their Guru? But I am simply your humble servant. As you tell me, as you order, I will follow. One should not try to jump over the head of their Guru. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he calls it Guru Mahara Vidya. Take so much benefit from my Gurudev, receive so many instructions, become very, very knowledgeable, and then sweep him out the door. Guru Mahara Vidya literally means to remove or kill one's Guru and then usurp their position. So these things have gone on in the past. So many have had this idea. Even our Srila Gurudev warned about it. Some are waiting for me to die, he said, so that they can become Acharya. We were sitting there in the class like, so shocked, and he was so grave when he was saying this. If one always maintains the mood of humility, dependence, always feeling themselves lowly and foolish, then they are ripe recipients for attracting mercy. If one feels that I'm good, I'm confident, I'm doing well, then I don't need to cry for mercy. The first instruction I ever received, that I felt Guru is speaking to me. It was through one man, but I felt essential truth coming. He pulled me to the side and said, on the path of bhakti, don't ever be satisfied. And I was thinking, what a weird thing to say. Bhakti is the best. Of course you should be satisfied. He said, you don't understand my mood. If you are satisfied, it means you're not making progress. Right? If everything is good, It means I'm not going to be burning to move forward. What is required for progression in bhakti? Utsaha, enthusiasm. That is the energy which drives bhakti. And then, determination. Do or die. I will never give up. And then dharya, patience. And if my goal does not arrive today or tomorrow, for sure and certain it will come. Always having that patience and moving forward on the path. By this we can attract the mercy of Sri Guru, Vaishnavas, Nityananda, Prabhu Gauranga, and Radha and Krishna. So Bali Maharaj, what did he do? He was in a position where he had nothing else. He had nothing except his body. He already gave everything. Everything else, all of his wealth, all of his power, all of his dominion, anything in relation to him, he already gave. It was claimed by Vamandev. And then he had nothing left to give but his own body, his own heart. And so Gurudev here is explaining, Bali Maharaj, he got special benefit. Vaman snatched the desire for material enjoyment away from him and gave him bhakti. So he took away all of his material possessions. I'm remembering Gurudev at this moment. He said, when I approached my Gurudev, I fell at his feet and I told him all of the attachment I had for my wife, my children, my father and mother, my brothers and sisters, my village, my position, everything, all of that attachment that I've had for all of them, I've now collected in one place, and I am offering that at your lotus feet. He said at that moment, tears came to the eyes of Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, who told him at that time, until now I have not heard this from anyone. And Gurudev said, from that some little mercy came to me, by which I am able to travel and preach all over the world and have so much success. From that mood of dedication and surrender, submittance, and offering everything at the lotus feet of my Gurudev. So we see here that Bali Maharaj offered everything at the lotus feet of Sri Vaman Dev, Vaman Avatar. And from that, because all of his material attachments, all of his wealth, all of his possessions, everything was removed. Now Krishna says in Srimad Bhagavatam, for one whom I choose to show special mercy, I remove all of their material attachments. Srila Prabhupada, our Srila Prabhupada used to say that he was always afraid of this verse because he noticed it in his life. One thing after another was just being removed from him. His businesses were failing. His wife, his children, everything, his home, everything he lost. And he was afraid of this verse. And he even told that on the on the departure day of his sannyas, Guru Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. That I thought I would be the loser. I was afraid of this verse, he would say. He said, I thought I would lose so much, but actually I gained everything by the mercy of Krishna. I lost all my material attachments, but gained a family of devotees. So Prabhupada was so appreciative of this. He actually quoted that verse that we chant before opening this book. He offered that prayer to Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj on the disappearance day of his sannyas guru. And he made a slight adjustment to it. So in the verse, he actually wrote it down, Vairaga Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga, Apayanan Mam Anubhipshamandam, Kripam Burirya Paradukuduki, Shri Keshavastam Prabhum Ashrayami. Keshavastam Prabhum Ashrayami. That he mercifully gave me the nectar of renunciation, or nectar laced with renunciation, although I was unwilling to accept it. And you hear Prabhupada, his appreciation for this godbrother of his who gave him sannyas, how he was weeping in separation, how he signed a letter and had all of his devotees, his disciples, sign this letter of bereavement, that he is no more, he has now gone back to Krishna. And in deep separation we are signing this letter and offering this pranam mantra unto his lotus feet. He said, practically, I see that my Gurudev has acted directly through him. This means transparent by a medium of his Gurudev, non-different. So he saw him as his shiksha also. What a beautiful mood, what a beautiful dedication. So here, we see that Bali Maharaj, everything was taken away by the Lord because he showed him special mercy. He didn't snatch away the demigod's facility for enjoyment, but he did snatch away Bali Maharaj's. So he took away all of that and he gave him in reciprocation. This is a very good trade. Krishna is taking away all of your material attachments and all of your facility for material enjoyment, and then awakening the one thing that your soul really needs to thrive. That is bhakti, love and affection, devotion for the Supreme Lord. So here, it is said, he snatched away his desire for material enjoyment and gave Bali Maharaj bhakti. He didn't take away the demigod's facility for enjoyment. Rather, he provided it by returning their kingdom to them. So to whom was he more kind? Was he more kind to the demigods or more kind to Bali Maharaj? But like Indra, we desire and pray. We desire and pray. Gurudev is now speaking to us how we are. O Lord, please don't snatch our material enjoyment away. Be merciful like this and make our lives plentiful. My son, daughter, money and wife, please don't take them. I will do bhajan and they will remain with me also. This is how we pray. We don't want to do we want both of it. We want both things. I want to maintain all of my material attachments and I want bhakti, bhav and prem. Sudevi, can you please come and tell what Gurudev said to you in this connection?
I'm not dressed properly.
You can.
Sorry, I'm listening.
So you may have heard this before, many years before. We had received Sri Sri Radha Vinod Bihari from Srila Gurudev. I think it was in 1998. He did Pram Pratishta of them. And he was so happy. He was looking, wow, so good. The following year, Sachinandan Gaurahari came to us. We were in Fiji at the time with our Gurudev, just after Kartik, because it took a while for him to manifest. And so, at the darshan where we were with Gurudev in Jagannath Punja Prabhu's house, Sudevi asked Gurudev at the end, Gurudev, will you do Pram Pratishta of my Mahaprabhu? Will you install our Mahaprabhu? And Gurudev just looked and said, what will you give me? And she was thinking, I've already given up everything. I only have 2 suitcases. I'm traveling the world and I don't have anything. And then he began talking to others. And then she asked Gurudev again, Gurudev, will you do Pram Pratishta of my Mahaprabhu? Gurudev said, what will you give me? Will you give me Kishori Mohan Prabhu? And she was like, for a moment. And then, at that time, he said, I will give him sannyas. How would you like that? And she said, I will always try to like everything you do, Gurudev. And then he continued speaking to everyone else. And then he got up to leave. And she came behind Gurudev. Gurudev, will you do Pram Pratishta of my Mahaprabhu? Gurudev spun around and looked at her and said, do you want Prabhu? Pointing at me, or Mahaprabhu? And she just kind of whispered, Mahaprabhu. And again he said, do you want Prabhu or Mahaprabhu? And she said, Mahaprabhu. But that time her ears were red. She was breaking out in hives behind. She was flushing. She began sweating, shaking. And then Gurudev just said to her, "Thank you." And he turned around and walked away. Prabhu or Mahaprabhu? This is the choice that we're being given at every moment. And we want to maintain, yes, I want Prabhu and I want Mahaprabhu. She was saying that outside she was saying Mahaprabhu, but inside she was thinking, I want my husband, I want my comfort, I want my belongings, I want everything, and I want Mahaprabhu and Radha Vino Vihari and Bhakti Bhav and Prem. I want to keep all of it. But Guru is there offering, I want to give you Krishna. What are you willing to give me? What are you willing to give up? This is our condition in this world. So here, Gurudev is showing what kind of prayer that we have, what kind of sincerity we have, that we are thinking, don't take away my material attachments. I want everything and I want to do bhajan. And I want everything to stay just as it is. I don't want to give up any material attachments. And then he says, but some pray. I just want to share one thing with you. Sometimes Gurudev liked to tease. And he knew certain persons, certain disciples he could tease. And one of them was Sudevi. One time he was telling all of the devotees, you should be ready, all of you should be ready to speak on any subject at any time. I can call on any one of you. This was in Barshana, I think 1999, at Modi Bhavan there, Modi Ashram. So Gurudev was like, I can call on any one of you. And Sudevi at that time was especially afraid to speak in front of Gurudev. She told her friend who was sitting next to her, Shanti, I'm so afraid to speak, I don't want to speak. She was kind of hiding. And the class finished and Gurudev didn't have anyone speak. So he was walking past, and at that time he walked past and they were just trying to get the glance of Gurudev, as all would. And then Shanti called, Gurudev, Gurudev! Sudevi's afraid you're going to have her speak. Gurudev turned around and said, yes, be ready. He said, be ready. And she started shaking. And Gurudev said, I want to see your ashtasattvic bhavs. And she was shaking like this. And then he said, so be ready. Tomorrow. And she was just there like this. And then he said, to sing. And he just blessed and he walked away. So sometimes the father likes to also tease the daughter like that. So sweet relationship is there. But in this case, actually, it's quite confronting. What am I willing to give up for Krishna? Am I willing to give up anything? Do I want to maintain all of my material attachments? Do I want to maintain all of my wealth and my things, my attachments in this world? What am I willing to give up for Krishna? Look at the gopis, how they gave up everything. Nowadays we look and we're like, oh, that's easy. Because today's society is such that anyone can just do anything and get away with it and it doesn't really matter. And so no one has any hesitation. But the gopis are glorified so intensely as the highest epitome of love and affection because they had to overcome every societal barrier to please Krishna. Every societal barrier from every angle of vision. They had to overcome all of those barriers. For that, they are so glorified because they gave up everything for Krishna. So much so that he said, I can never repay you for what you have given me. Even in the lifetimes of Brahma, I cannot repay you for what you have given to me. They gave up everything. So really, when we come to the feet of Sri Guru, then we need to begin to learn this process of not only accepting the favorable, but also rejecting the unfavorable. If we try to keep both, it can actually become an unhealthy situation. I believe I've told this example before. There was one person, I think it was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, who would tell this example. One person who went to the doctor, he was very sick, he had diabetes, he was way overweight, he had so many problems. He went to the doctor and he said, Doctor, I'm so sick, help me. And the doctor's like, my God, you need to adjust your diet. You need to take everything healthy, fresh fruit, fresh grains, steamed vegetables, salads, and like this. Come back and see me in a month. So the man came back a month later, and he was even more unhealthy, more sick, more fat, more just on the verge of death. And the doctor was looking at him, what happened? Did you follow my diet? He's like, yes. The doctor said everything. You took all of those things that I told you to take. Absolutely, I took all of it. The doctor said, did you give up any of those things that were making you sick in the first place? No, I just added what you told me to my previous diet. So this is our condition. We're trying to add all of the bhakti things, but we're still trying to maintain all of the other things, and this can actually make us more and more sick. That's why we must be under guidance of sadhus. By being in their association gradually, by their strong harikatha, vidyate hridaya grantish chidyante sarvashanshaya shiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishvare. By the sword of transcendental knowledge, they cut at all of the knots which are binding us in this material world. It's called hridaya grantis, the knots of the heart. What is that? All of the knots of lust, anger, greed, madness, envy, pride, selfishness, thinking I am this body, this false ego, this mind, even this intelligence. The intelligence is also material. All of these things which are binding me in this material world, gradually in that association, they cut that in the form of strong language. Means telling the truth, even though it might not be tasteful to us. What does Rupa Goswami say in the 7th verse of Sri Upadeshamrita? Syat Krishna Nama Charitari Sitapya Vidya Pito Patapta Rasanasya Narochikanu Kintvadarat Anudinam Khalu Shaiva Jushta Svadvikramad Bhavadita Gadamulahantri. In the beginning, it is like poison. Because we have only ever known what it is like to be the center and trying to satisfy our senses. It is quite foreign to us, this material nature and material conditioning, to give up that process and try to satisfy the transcendental senses of Krishna. We find it difficult because we've only ever known this other path. So at that time, we feel that the pressure. For us in the beginning, it's like trying to swim upstream on a very powerful current. It's going against the only nature we have ever known, and we have gained infinite momentum in that nature. But the nature of our soul is exactly opposite to the nature of this material world and the samsara of this material world. So by taking shelter of Sri Guru, of the Vaisnavas, of the process of Harinam, in the beginning we will feel so much difficulty. No? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, it might be like poison in the beginning. So for those who are jaundiced, you know jaundice? When your whole body turns yellow, color of this bottle cap. Your eyeballs are that color. I've had it before. It's not nice. I've had it twice. So in a jaundiced state, when you take that sweet sugar candy of Harinam, and also of the instructions of Gurudev, which are not different from Krishna, they're also not different manifestation. Harikatha is not different from Harinam Prabhu. In the beginning it might be difficult for us, and it might even seem bitter, but gradually, as we are taking and accepting that, if we follow the process with faith, gradually, through receiving that thing which seems bitter in the beginning, our diseased condition will be eradicated, and then we will eventually taste the true sweetness that is present within the words of Guru, within Harikatha, and within Sri Harinam Prabhu. So that bitterness will disappear, and sweetness will remain as we become more and more cured from our jaundiced disease, our jaundice of ignorance. So Gurudeva is saying now, some pray. Just want to make sure everything's still going good. Okay, good. Some pray, O Lord, you please to take away all of these things and give me pure love for your lotus feet. Which of these is correct? If in both hands there is a laddu, will you desire both or only one? If Bhagavan says, all right, you take the happiness of material enjoyment, and together with that, take pure love for me also. And he puts both into our hands. Certainly, we will take the material enjoyment and not the bhakti. So that goes along with what I was just speaking. If he puts in one hand bhakti, which we have no taste for, or we even consider it to be bitter, and the other hand he puts all kinds of material enjoyment, we will naturally go toward that thing which we know. However, if we really desire prem, then this enjoying spirit must be eradicated. Otherwise, there will be cheating and deception in our bhakti. Cheating and deception, which means bhakti cannot manifest there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is known as the savior of the most fallen. But those who are duplicitous, those who are cheaters, they cannot receive that mercy. For one who is pretending to sleep, you cannot wake them up because they are cheaters. Who is cheating, they cannot really make progress. But that person who is simple in heart, who is open, who is honest, maybe they have so many problems, so many difficulties, but yet they're always crying out for mercy and praying and revealing, this is my situation, help me. They can be helped. But that cheater, that duplicitous person, that deceptive person, they cannot hear the call of Mahaprabhu. Srila Govinda Maharaj says. In this connection, our Srila Gurudev would talk about ruchi or taste. He said, ruchi is one thing, it is not two things. You cannot have simultaneous ruchi or taste for Krishna and for Maya. In other words, he would say, if you have a sword case which is meant for only one sword to fit perfectly in, you cannot put two swords in that one sword case. You can only put one or the other. So we can, in this case, test our own pulses and see how duplicitous, how deceptive, and how much of a cheating propensity we actually have. That we're trying to maintain all of our material attachments even after understanding so many instructions about bhakti. We're still trying to maintain all of those things. And at the same time, we're claiming to be transcendental, spiritual. We want to do all sorts of nonsense activities. And we're claiming to be above and beyond, transcendental. This is not a symptom of someone who has true love and affection for the Lord. They have no attraction for the material world whatsoever. So we should not give up hope thinking I only have material attachment so I shouldn't chant. That's why Rupa Goswami said by continuing to take the medicine gradually, that medicine will cure our material attachment problem. What is that medicine? That medicine is the sugar candy, the mishri of Harinam. It is the sugar candy of Harikatha. It is the sugar candy of Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathurava, Sri Murtir Shradhaya Sevan. All of the activities on the path of bhakti, but especially taking shelter of the pure devotee. Because even Harinam can only manifest in their association. Humility can only manifest in their association. Shraddha can only manifest in their association. And bhakti can only manifest by their grace, by their association. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Only by the mercy of Krishna's pure devotee Only by the mercy of Sri Guru. Only by the mercy of that person who is completely bound permanently to the lotus feet of Krishna, for whom nothing of this material world can distract. Nothing can distract them. By taking shelter of such a personality, then gradually all of our anarthas will be destroyed. How? By their awakening of our prema bhakti. Prema bhakti jaha hoite avidya vinasha jate. When they awaken that prema bhakti in our heart, first in the form of shraddha, which begins to grow to nishtha, ruchi, ashakti, bhav, prem. From there, from shraddha, the first particle of prem, by that, ignorance is destroyed. Prema bhakti jaha hoite. First, prema bhakti will manifest. Then, avidya will be removed. We cannot say that we can remove avidya first. What will remove avidya? How can we remove avidya first? Ignorance of our own accord. Without the positive power of bhakti, without the higher taste, how can we give up the lower taste? And why would we even want to? Gurudev said. Without higher taste, why would you want to? This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the cure for the heart disease of lust, which is the one thing which makes the entire world go round, the entire universe, the entire material cosmic manifestation, all of the universes? It is lust, the desire to be the enjoyer and to enjoy through the medium of my senses. Krishna says it is lust only, the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. Lust. Arjuna asked him, what is it that makes one do something which you know is not good for you, even though you don't want to do it? Still, you're impelled to do that. What is that thing? And Krishna is like, it's lust. Really, what is lust? Lust is the result of wanting to be the enjoyer, wanting to be Vishai, wanting to play the role of God. It is the result of that envy. That lust manifests. It is the perverted reflection of the transcendental realm, trying to copy Krishna. What he expresses and what he feels is known as love. And what we experience and express in terms of material attachments, that is known as lust. Atmendriya pritivancha taribalikam, Krishnendriya priti icha dhare premanam. The desire to satisfy our own senses and the senses of the materialists of this world, that is known as lust. And the natural transcendental desire to serve Krishna's transcendental senses, Krishna Indriya, his senses, priti icha, to please and to give love and affection, to serve his transcendental senses, dhare premanam. This is known as prem, divine love. So it's very, very interesting. When we look at it, we think, no, this is love. But our attachments in this world are selfish. And therefore, Shastra calls it lust. Because we are trying to extract enjoyment from everything. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srila Maharaj calls it the land of exploitation. This is the land of exploitation. And the transcendental realm he calls the land of dedication. Where everyone and everything is Guru, heavily saturated with the mood of divine loving service to Krishna. Every single personality, every particle, everything is Guru, the land of dedication. And this is the land of exploitation. The result of exploiting is becoming exploited. This is the karma of this world. The result of dedication to the Lord, to Krishna, is the increase of that love and affection, and Krishna's natural reciprocation of love and affection. So Gurudev here is saying, if you are given two different kinds of laddus, you have one in each hand. This one is bhakti, which for us right now will be bitter. This one is all material enjoyment, all happiness, all sensual pleasures and everything. Gurudev said, what will happen to us? We will certainly take the material enjoyment and not the bhakti. However, if we really desire prema, then this enjoying spirit must be eradicated. Otherwise, there will be cheating and deception in our bhakti. And if there's cheating and deception, we cannot really make progress. We need to be simple. Vaishnavata, saralata e Vaishnavata. Simplicity is Vaishnavism. For Vaishnavas, it is said that they should be the same on the inside and the outside. And we can see whether or not we are. We can check our own pulses. And we can see, okay, so I should be representing on the outside, but definitely I should pray for when the inside will catch up. We shouldn't go the other way. I'm a complete nonsense inside, so let me manifest it outside. It should be the other way around. I will make the endeavor with my body, with my words, with my mind to please my Gurudev. And I hope that the inside will catch up. But not the other way around, to represent nonsense outwardly. This is not recommended. We hear that Putana came to Krishna dressed as a mother, and because of this, even though she had a heart full of duplicity, but because she even had this outward dress, he gave her the position of a nursemaid in Goloka Vrindavan. Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam. Aho, if Krishna is so merciful to give this cheating person the embodiment of the false guru, who comes looking in such a beautiful form, but whose only nature is to try to kill that bhakti. If Krishna will give this person, because they are dressed as a Vaishnava, as a devotee, or as a mother, such a high position, then what to speak of what thing, what kind of benefit, what kind of destination he will give to his devotees. When Pundarik Vidyanidhi heard this prayer, it made him mad just thinking about this. We'll speak about him tomorrow. Mad meaning mad in Krishna prema. So 90% of the people in this world desire like this. Our material enjoyment must remain intact. Our family must remain. Our money and palatable food must remain. Our business must go on nicely. And together with all of this, we will have bhakti. So the Lord says, all right, but He gives them only ordinary bhakti to accompany their material enjoyment. Even there are so many different prescriptions given in Shastra. If you've ever read that Ekadashi Mahatmya, and I think in Skanda Purana there are so many different pujas which are mentioned. And the blessing in that is, you will have immense opulence, you will live for thousands of years enjoying heavenly opulence, and in the end you will attain bhakti. But it never says Braja Bhakti. It never says exclusive love and devotion for the Lord. So we should be careful for these blessings. Gurudev is warning us here. Alright, you can have some kind of ordinary bhakti to accompany your material enjoyment. But it will not be pure bhakti. It will be karma mishra bhakti, mixed with reward-seeking activity. But what is pure bhakti? Uttama bhakti, anyabhilashita shunyam. It is devoid of any other desire. Jnana, karma, adi, anavritam. It is not covered with desire for liberation, freedom from material suffering, and merging into the effulgence of the Lord or into the body of the Lord. Jnana, karma. It's not covered with reward-seeking activity. Oh my Lord, here's an apple. Please let me win the lottery. It's mostly how it is. People put a little piece of fruit, offer a stick of incense, and then pray, let me have millions of dollars, let me enjoy lavishly. We give Bhagavan a piece of fruit, and then we go out and we party and eat so many things. We enjoy so much money and put a little bit in front of the Lord. We buy gold for our beloved persons, our friends, our family, our wives, our children. We wear it ourselves, and for Bhagavan we give him some cheap metal from Loy Bazaar, we can see how we're actually serving. So, he will give ordinary bhakti. Ordinary. But what is ordinary? Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Karma Mishra Bhakti. You can remain where you are and you can have this semblance of bhakti, but it is not pure bhakti. Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam. Karma means I'm doing something for you, so you should do something for me. Action, reaction. But pure bhakti is devoid of this. Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam. Adi means and so forth. Means it's not covered with any other sentimentality as well. Taking shelter of the devas. Taking shelter of astrology, gemology, numerology. All of these other things. The process of yoga. All of these other things. Means yoga like aimed at the development of cities, power and all of these things. Rupa Goswami is explaining this, and all of our Vaishnava acharyas have given these commentaries. Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam. Without, it is devoid of that process. When Sri Narasimha Bhagavan was so pleased with Bhakta Prahlad, after he killed Hiranyakashipu and thousands and millions of Hiranyakashipu's soldiers, then Prahlad, he offered beautiful prayers to him, sat on the lap of Narasimha Bhagavan. He put him on his lap, and he began to treat him like a lion would treat his cub. So at that time, Narasimha said to Bhakta Prahlad, I'm so pleased with you, what would you like? What did Prahlad say? I'm not a businessman, I'm not a merchant. You are my eternal master and I am your eternal servant. It's not fitting for a servant to ask any special favors of his master. A servant is always a servant, and he shouldn't ask anything. He should simply be satisfied by whatever his master gives him. In the same way, it is not befitting of a master to try to offer special things to the servant. Prahlad Maharaj was telling all of these things. I don't want anything. I'm simply happy and satisfied being devoted to you. And then Narasimha Bhagavan kept pressuring him, please take something, you have to take something. So then Prahlad, he's like, okay, my father, I know he was the most evil man that ever lived, but please give him liberation. Then Sri Nrsimhadev Bhagavan said, automatically it's already done, because you're my devotee. For beginning level devotee, Kanishta Adhikari, 7 generations, automatically liberated. For Madhyam Adhikari, 14 generations are automatically liberated. For Uttam Bhakta, for Uttam Adhikari, 21 generations are automatically liberated, so it's already done. Ask for something else. Prahlad said, please always keep me in the association of your pure devotee. And we see this as a very powerful trend in Srimad Bhagavatam. Whenever the Lord is asking anyone, what would you like? The pure devotees always ask, please always keep me in the association of your pure devotee, so that I may always hear of your name, forms, qualities, and pastimes. So that I may always be in that association. Even the Lord wants to be in those places. So Prahlad asked for that. Please always keep me in the association of your pure devotee. And then Narasimha Bhagavan was like, please ask for something else, anything. And then Prahlad said, okay, give all of the sins of everyone in the entire universe to me and let me suffer on their behalf and give everyone else liberation. Narasimha Bhagavan at that time began to smile and he was like, I'll tell you what. Basically, he was defeated at that point. He said, anyone who hears this pastime, the pastime of Nrsimha Prahlad, the whole pastime, anyone who hears this, they will attain liberation. But Prahlad did not want anything. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu epitomized this in Sri Shikshashtakam, that I don't want anything. What did he say? Mama janmani janmanishware bhavata bhaktira hoiti kitvai. He's not asking for anything. Even if I have to take birth millions of times over again, I'm not even asking to have liberation from being born in this material world. But let me have bhakti for you. But that bhakti means let me love you, let me serve you, let me have devotion for you. It still is not selfish, it's still for the Lord. And then he says, Ashlishyava paradadam pinashtumam adarshanan marmahatam karotva itatatava vidhatu lampato mat prananatas tusaeva naparaha. You can do whatever you like with me. You can break my heart, you can cast me away, you can embrace another in front of me. You can be like lampat, chor, anything. This will not change the nature of my love for you. It will always be there. You will always be my prananath, the beloved of my life. And there is no condition whatsoever. No condition. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur also epitomized this in his prayer, Manasa Deho Geho, Jo Kichumor, Arpilu Tuapade, Nanda Kishor. He said, Marobi Rakhobi Jo Ichatohar Nitya Dastatua Prati Adhikar. That you can do whatever you like with me. If it pleases you to kill me, Marobi, then this is your right. If it pleases you to protect me, then this is also your right. Marobi Rakhobi. Jo Ichatohar. According to your desire. Nitya Dasa. What is my qualification? What is your qualification? I am your eternal servant. And what is your qualification? You are my eternal Lord and Master. So there's no desire for any material reciprocation. This is Uttama Bhakti. Anukuliyena Krishna Anushilanam. What is favorable for Krishna? What is exclusively for Krishna? What is for his happiness, his pleasure, and more importantly, his benefit. What is for his benefit? This is Uttama Bhakti, pure Bhakti. Whenever Gurudeva would ask anyone a question, what is Bhakti? I remember we were in Fiji with him. We went for a morning walk on the beach. And that time, it was quite early on. I think it was 1998 or something. And I don't know, maybe even a little earlier, 97, 98. And Srila Gurudev asked a question to all of us. What is the definition of bhakti? What is bhakti? And we were trying to give like far out answers. You know, something smart and intelligent. And he wasn't satisfied by our answers, even though we may have said this and said that and so many things. Then he asked one devotee. And that devotee quoted this verse, Anya Bhilashita Shunyam. And then Srila Gurudev said at that time, if I ever ask, what is bhakti? I want this verse to be quoted. In other words, he wanted us all to understand the purest definition of bhakti, and that we should give evidence, praman, shastric evidence. What is the definition of bhakti? What is bhakti? Then we should give this shlok. So we've heard it so many thousands of times because he wanted to impress it into us that we should learn it. And if you read what Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kishori Goswami Maharaj spoke, or what is written about this particular verse, then you will see why our Gurudev was so adamant of sharing it and making sure to impress these moods in the hearts of his disciples. To the demigods, Bhagavan gives the responsibility of protecting the world. But the material world is temporary. He says, do this service for me, and gives them posts. But then some of them think, I have become the master of the three worlds. The Lord has given me this position, and now I am the master of the entire universe. We have seen this in a very beautiful pastime which took place in Braj. We know this pastime. Once Krishna saw that so many preparations were being made for a huge festival, decorations were being made, so many things were being cooked, so many preparations, so many arrangements were being made. And Krishna was asking his mother, Mother, what's going on today? And she was too busy. I can't talk to you, go ask your father. So then he went and asked his father, Nanda Baba, Hey Baba, what's happening? Is today my birthday? He was only 7 years old, little Krishna. And then Nanda Baba started to explain to Krishna, no, it's not your birthday. We're arranging and preparing to have a big festival to glorify Indra. And Krishna's like, but why? He said, because Indra sends rain, and rain makes grass and grains. The grain feeds the cows, and the cows give milk, so we're all able to survive by these grains and by milk, and we're able to serve the Brahmins. So by worshipping Indra, we will get all of these benefits. And Krishna began to speak karma mimamsa philosophy to Nanda Baba. But how is it? It doesn't seem fair, because where people don't worship Indra, rain also falls, right? And Nanda Baba was like, well, yes. And what about on the ocean? I mean, ocean is made of water. Why does rain fall on water? Nanda Baba was thinking, you're right. You're right. Krishna said, I don't think we should do this puja to Indra. Everyone gets what they need according to their karma. Happiness and suffering comes according to their karma. Krishna was telling karma mimamsa philosophy to Nanda Baba. And he said, but from my perspective, I see that Govardhan, Giriraj, is presenting everything. All the waterfalls are coming from him. His mountain caves are there. All fruits and grasses for the cows. Everything is being produced by Giriraj. So I suggest that instead of worshipping Indra, we should worship Giriraj instead. Nanda Baba was like, you're right. Krishna said, I think that we should offer everything that we've prepared here. Rice, dal, halava, puris, pakoras, laddus, rasgullas, sandesh, sweet rice. Everything to Govardhan. All of the paraphernalia we should use to worship Govardhan instead of Indra. What has he done like this? So Nanda Baba accepted because he's Brajesh, or the king of Vrindavan, and then all followed him. And all the Brajabasis worshipped Giriraj. Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. But something happened. Indra he heard what happened. What? These impudent little earthlings dare to stop my puja? See, the demigods subsist off the worship, off the adoration, off the faith, the shraddha of the people in the earthly realm, the earthly planets. And they subsist off that. So Earth is not the only earthly planet. They subsist off of that faith, that shraddha, which is done in the form of so many offerings. So Indra became really angry, thinking, I am the Lord of this universe. I am the king of Svarga, but also in charge of everything else. How dare these impudent little earthlings do this? If they do it and then others follow their example, it's like mutiny. I will teach them a lesson so that no one else will follow their example. He became so angry, so proud, so puffed up. And at that time he called his Samvartaka clouds. These are the clouds of devastation that come at the time of universal devastation, completely inundating the world and half the universe. So he called these Samvartaka clouds, go and destroy Vrindavan. Don't leave anything undestroyed. I will come also with my thunderbolt riding on my elephant. So he became so intoxicated with ego and pride that he actually made a physical endeavor to destroy Krishna's dham, to destroy every tree, every plant, every creature, every cow, every associate, Krishna's family, Krishna's friends, Krishna's gopis, Krishna's Giriraj, everything he wanted to destroy. And then Krishna, Srila Prabhupada said, lifted up Govardhan hill. As easy as it was for a child to pick up a mushroom. And he showed Indra that defeating you is simply the business of my little finger. So Indra tried for 7 days and 7 nights and then realized, my God, literally, my God, I think I've made a mistake, a big mistake. What am I going to do? So he came and tried to appease Krishna. He tried to appease Krishna. Krishna would not even look at him. This is bad. If you look at someone and say, I don't want to see your face, but Krishna wouldn't even acknowledge his existence. Indra was desperate. He tried to give Krishna Abhishek, didn't have any effect. Why? Maha Aparadhi. Tried to kill all of Krishna's eternal associates. So then Indra was desperate. He took shelter of the universal mother, Sudevi. Seeing his pitiful condition, she took compassion on him. Shunya amara duk Vaisnava thakur amalagi Krishna avedi bena prachur. Vaishnaver avedane Krishna doyamoy. Ehino pamara prati avena sadoy. So at that time, Sudevi accompanied Indra. Because Krishna is so affectionately inclined toward his mother, the cow. And she is the mother of all cows, Sudevi. Krishna, his heart melted by her prayer. And she said, you're both like my children. Sometimes siblings fight, but please forgive him. For the benefit of the world and the universe, please forgive him. Please give him another chance. He won't do it again. So then Krishna accepted. She gave him a snan. She gave Krishna a bath in her milk. And Krishna was pacified by her prayer. And then he gave Indra another chance. But he said, don't ever do anything like this again, or else. You are warned. So in this case, Gurudeva is saying that the demigods may have this mood that I am the master of the three worlds. The Lord has given me this position, and now I'm the master of the universe. They don't understand that this is actually an obstacle to bhakti. So he placed this very allurement in the hands of Indra and snatched that same allurement away from Bali Maharaj, giving Bali Maharaj pure bhakti instead. Many people do not understand that this is a special activity of mercy he performed for Bali. So we will stop here today. Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Radha Giridhari Ju ki jai. Indraman Vardhan ki jai. It means that Krishna removed the anger of Indra. This is Indraman Vardhan, Govardhan Leela. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Sanatan Goswamipada ki jai, Bali Maharaj ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Jai Radha Ramana Giridhari, Giridhari Shyam Vanavari, Mero Radha Ramana Giridhari, Mero Radha Ramana Giridhari, Giridhari Shyam Vanavari. Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Hari ki jai, Radha Ramana ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari. So thank you very much for being with us today, and for giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev, our Guru Varga. So many beautiful points, and for engaging us in our Guru Seva. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. I believe tomorrow for us is the day of Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur and Sri Gadadhar Pandit. So we have a beautiful subject to discuss tomorrow. We look forward to you all being with us. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare